Ayan po. Others can also hear kahit wala sila ngayon. But for those who are present, again, salamat sa pagpunta. And hopefully magiging isang option po ito, no, na maka-join pa rin tayo within sa ginagawa ng CBCM kahit saan tayo. Alright? And so, ito po ang magiging flow sa ating worship time today. So, again, this is a ministry ng CBCM. Ayan po, no? So, let's go directly sa message. Uy, naka-stop share siya. So, let me reshare. Ayan po. Sa thumbs up naman, pag nakikita yung screen, and I see, ayan. Okay, we're seeing the screen. So, yes. Thank you. Ayan po, no? We actually discussed ang passage na ito, John 4, and this is the story of Jesus reaching out to a woman sa isang place na medyo malayo sa kanila, no? And gusto ko lang ma-emphasize again today because last week habang nag-meet kami sa isang friend na matagal naming hindi na nakita, nag-share siya, no, about sa kanyang experience, and she actually said na ang pinaka-verse na ito, no, ay yung verse na ginamit ng Panginoon to refresh her. Okay, and so may coincidence, no? But again, sa alam ko sa Panginoon, walang coincidence sa Kanya. So in the same way, no, may it continue to give you emphasis ang sinabi niya. And hindi ko i-go back yung previous message, but it's recorded and we can always look at it sa YouTube natin, no? But allow me to just continue galing sa passage na iyon, no? So Jesus told her na meron akong living water at ang living water ay makakasatisfy sa person who accepts it. And ganun nga, na-convince yung babae na si Jesus had this living water and she said, "Sir, give me this water." No, bigyan mo ako ng tubig na ito para hindi ako magiging thirsty or have to come here to draw water. And Jesus said to her, "Go call your husband and come here." The woman answered, "I have no husband." Jesus said to her, "You're right in saying I have no husband, for you have had 5 husbands, and the one you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true." So, ito yung naging discussion, and it was, you know, even for me reading today, medyo weird, no? Bakit ganun yung response, and just want to share some observation kung bakit ganun yung sabi ni Jesus, no? And one of the first things na makikita ko dito is Jesus always has others in mind, no? And again, it's clear na pumunta siya doon just to meet this woman, but he was always thinking about others. So even in this passage, no, nung sinabi niyang go call your husband, iniisip din niya, no, sino yung ibang magbe-benefit out of this, no? Kasi maybe the woman was just thinking about herself, no? So ganun din yung heartbeat ni Jesus, it's always for others. And if we want to, you know, I hope makita natin na si Jesus is worth following and imitating. And for those who've known him long, isang challenge, no? Sino pa yung others that is around us that we can also, you know, share this living water with? This Jesus na na-experience ninyo, no? Sino yung others in mind? Okay? And maybe first time mo dito, no? Or, you know, bago pa lang tayo sa Zoom. But again, the question is, meron bang others? Just like Jesus said, no? Call your husband, call somebody else, no? And that's true even for us today, no? Pag may na-experience tayong maganda sa kanya, sana makita natin na, you know, of all the things worth sharing, marami, if merong blessing na pumupunta sa atin, usually we want our loved ones to come and experience that, no? Same po dito sa experience natin with the church or with Jesus. sana ganun ang makikita natin, no? As we find it a blessing and satisfying, sana mabigay natin sa iba. And that is the same for all of us. Ganun pa man, one thing is clear as makita natin dito sa passage na isulat, no? Jesus always knows what is on our mind, no? And maybe may mga bagay na para sa babae na ay in a sense that conversation was to help the woman, you know, approach Jesus without barriers, no? Because one of the barriers is siyempre yung bakit worthy ba ako na lumapit sa Diyos, no? Worthy ba ako na lumapit kay Jesus na meron akong mga dala-dala, no? Iba yung private life ko. And yet Jesus even at the start knows the life of who this woman is, no? Nung sinabi ng babae, ay wala akong husband, no? Tama, no? You had 5 husbands and the person you are with walang husband, no? And the same is true sa atin, no? Even as we come here, may dala-dala tayo. Sometimes we are afraid to share that, and really, you don't have to share that, no? Because Jesus somehow nothing is hidden from His sight. Alam niya, no? Kung ano yung dala natin. And yet, no? He was in a sense, no? Although alam niya, He showed in a way na still you can approach Him. Okay? And I would say that Jesus always knows even the truths na tinatago natin sa ating sarili, no? Sometimes ang mga responses natin sa iba reflects na lang sa iniisip natin. And I hope as you encounter Jesus, as you encounter the Word, you will see na it's good to come close, although papakita ni Jesus yung truth sa atin, no? But always He means to show a better way of living, no? And for this woman, this was actually one of the best ways, no? So si Jesus will always break through the divisions that keep us from Him, no? Yun yung isang gagawin ni Jesus. If you think there's some way, no? My barrier, my thing that is preventing me from approaching Christ Jesus. And then let me tell you, there are many circumstances na pwedeng gamitin ng Diyos para tayo ay lumapit sa Kanya. Okay? And so that was the conversation, no? And then what happens next is binago ng, no? Sometimes ganito, when we are uncomfortable, babaguhin natin yung topic. So sabi ng babae sa kanya, "Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you say that in Jerusalem is the place where people ought to worship." Okay? And then Jesus said to her something that we will look into a little deeper. No, but sabi niya, "Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. But the hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such people to worship Him. God is spirit, and those who worship Him must worship in spirit and truth." And some things that are even more true ngayong araw, no? If you think about it, I wonder, no? Kasi nung sinabi ni Jesus, nandito na ba in His mind yung araw na ang mga anak niya, ang mga Christians would be worshiping on Zoom. Okay? Because really, it says here, neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem, no? Hindi tied sa isang place ang worship. Before, during His time, may specific place na sinabi na dito kayo mag-worship. And yet, Jesus was saying the time is coming and is now here where more than the place, no? It's not the where, it's how you worship. Okay, and we'll see that, no? But just a few things here, no? Where we worship can often divide us. Or sabihin na lang natin, no? Some people will even the form, the religious expression makaka-divide sa atin, no? And I don't know if you've seen the internet lately, may isang sikat na talk show host na naging controversial, no? Dahil sa mga sagot about saan tayo pupunta, sa heaven ba o hindi. Okay? And magandang discussion 'yan, no? Pero we don't have time for that right now, but somehow it's related to this, no? One thing I can say, no, when it comes to the idea of heaven and worship, no, more than the form is sino ba yung object, no? Sino ba yung main person when it comes to worship? And I hope we see na it's not about us, it is about one way or another, it's about Jesus, no? About the person of Jesus and how he saves and how he changes people. So sasabihin na lang natin na more important than where we worship is how we worship. Kaya sabi ni Jesus, no, the time is coming where it's not in a physical place, because really God the Father, wala naman siyang physical form. Okay, he is a spirit, and sabi ni Jesus, we worship the Father in spirit and in truth. So the idea is that everywhere pwede na mag-worship, no? And somehow itong Zoom time na ito, this Zoom worship is always a way that even on the internet, even online, can be a time where we worship, and again, it all leads to Jesus. So ayan po, no, ang pinaka-challenge after Jesus said all these things, sabi ng babae, I know that the Messiah is coming, he who is called the Christ. When he comes, he will tell us all things. And Jesus said to her, I who speak to you am he. Okay? So it's a very little glimpse of who Jesus is. But sana makita ninyo, no? Last week we talked about how Jesus is a welcoming God. Here, I hope we see, no, that Jesus, although he knows all things about us, and yet, sabi ng babae actually much later on, no? Sabi, naging testimony niya, no? Pagkatapos ng conversation nila ni Jesus, hindi siya tumakbo away, no? But rather went to the village, tinawag niya yung mga dating kalaban niya, yung nakakilala sa kanya, kahit yung past niya, at sabi niya, no, punta kayo dito, may isang tao na alam niya yung lahat about sa akin. No? And yet, no, hindi siya na-offend, no? In a sense, Jesus shows that when we come to him, no, even the things that are in our past are, not important anymore. And so ganun din, no? I hope we see this, that Jesus is the person, the very God actually, who we look to not only save us, but to be the answer to all our needs and desires. So, ayan po, no? Again, let's go and listen to this song just as a response to the passage that we have heard. The song, The Heart of Worship, is actually also a response doon sa worship, kasi in one church pinagbawal ng pastor yung music for some time, no? And they had to learn how to worship him without music. And after that time, binalik nilang music. Ang kanta na ito ang naisulat ng isang person. So ayan po. Let's listen to it once more.
Music fades, all is stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to bring something that's a word that will bless your heart. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is not what you have required. You search much deeper within, though the way things appear, you're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I made it when it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. King of endless worth, no one could express how much you deserve. Though I'm weak and poor, all I have is yours, every single breath. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself, it's not what you have required. You search much deeper within, though the way things appear, you're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I made it when it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I made it when it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. When it's all about you, it's all about you, Jesus.
Okay, thank you for that. And ayan po, no, it's a song na sana ay nakapag-reflect tayo. So, so that we can, discuss it a little bit more, let me break us into pupunta tayo sa iba't ibang room and we can just discuss a little bit more. So meron lang akong questions here that I would like to share, and then try to discuss it sa inyo. You can take a screenshot if you want, pero ipopost ko rin. In what way do you relate to the woman at the well? And then, do you think you can be a true worshiper even online? So it's just a discussion